JD Palumbo here on this beautiful Friday morning, and I'm here with my albino zebra carpet python. And guys, I want to just welcome you to a beautiful beginning of the weekend. We're going to take a look at some not so good odds, some good odds we got here, and a couple of holdbacks that I know a lot of people have been asking me about. So guys, stay tuned. We're going into the snake room. All right, guys, sometimes you just say, I can't believe I'm that lucky. One egg clutch. It was only one egg that lived. Everything else was slugs or just turned rotten. And look what I got, hypopide. Doesn't get much better than that. That's the hypo gene combined with the pie gene. One of the nicest combinations that I think in all of ball python breeding. That hypopide it's just got so much color, so much orange in it. It actually looks like Orange Dream is in there. And of course, I'd love to put some Super Orange Dream, Super Enchi into that hypopide, because that's just gonna make it even that much better. And why not, while we're at it, let's throw some Ultramel in there as well. So last litter, as you saw, that one egg clutch was a winner, hypopide. This guy came from a mandarin bred to a banana pastel sugar. Last year I got spectacular banana pastel sugar mandarins. This year I got one egg from this girl, and it looks like it's nothing. I don't know, it's a possible mandarin. It's looking very mandarin-ish. But I got no banana, no sugar, no pastel. So you never know. You can never tell, especially with the one egg clutch. I have another one egg clutch coming up that I'm praying to the odds gods on. Sometimes you get everything you want in one, and sometimes you get nothing. And that's part of the ball python breeding. It's a part of the snake breeding game, period. If you don't like the odds on a scratch-off lottery ticket, don't play them. That's what I always say. All right, guys, this is my holdback. Rousseau Red Pastel. Possible super hypo, definitely hypo. Sterling. Sterling is the boa morph. It's a recessive. It's a patternless boa. And Vin Russo line bred his boas for years and years and years, produced the reddest snakes, took that line bred trait, bred it to a hypo, Sterling, produced hets. I got a pair of pets from him. I produced this boy. He is probably the reddest of the red. That's just, once again, hypo, maybe super hypo, Sterling, but it's got that red in it because of the line bred trait. And you know what? Those line bred traits are something that take years to achieve, but boy, do they look awesome. This snake looks so much redder than a normal Sterling would, which is pretty tan looking. I can't wait to get this into more morphs, possibly albino, maybe T positive. I'd love to breed maybe a paradigm blood to this, at least to the female. This is a male, but we'll look at the female in a second. He's stuck. Here's one of the females. I held back two visuals. Once again, she's in shed a little bit. She's got a little stuck shed on her. We'll get that off a little later. We'll soak her. Look at that tail. Look how red that is. Just imagine breeding those two super Rousseau Red pastels, both possible super hypo Sterlings together. Whoa. We can make some really red patternless boas. I love that. Once again, we'll soak her a little later. Sometimes, you get stuck sheds if it's not humid enough in here. And I guess she tried to shed last night and didn't all come off. Here's a plasma female that's going to be ready to breed this coming season. That is a blood boa gene, so that's a recessive. The anery type 2 gene is recessive. So when you take the blood and then you take the red out of the blood with the anery gene, you get this like grayish looking snake. Really cool. And I believe she's super hypo too. She's at least hypo. So that's the plasma. The pewter would be without the hypo gene. A pewter is a blood that has the anery gene in it with no hypo. You add the hypo and you produce the plasma, just for people who might not know the difference, the little nuance, the little naming nuances. And once again, the beautiful black eyes from the blood gene. We can see that. And she's in shed right now. She's going into shed. But she's exquisite. The great thing is you can produce plasmas, you can produce bloods, everything would be hypo if she's super hypo. Really good potential here. Here's my beautiful Labyrinth male who produced those amazing crystals that you saw produced last year in 2018. He was bred to a couple of females this year and none of them went. And none of them had slugs either, so I don't think it was his fault. I think it was the female's fault. Maybe they weren't old enough, they didn't want to go. So he'll be back in the lineup this year again. Love him. He's one of my favorite looking snakes. That labyrinth pattern. Labyrinth boas are just really, really cool. The key is when you put other morphs into them, you don't want to put anything in that removes too much pattern, because what happens is you lose the labyrinth pattern. Even this he's a hypo labyrinth, and even he doesn't have as much labyrinth as normal, as you can see here, because the hypo unravels the labyrinth. So if you like that labyrinth pattern, you should not put hypo or anything that kind of reduces or changes the pattern too much. I haven't showed you this little girl in a long time. This is one of my Honduran T-positive hypos. That's a sunglow. It's a T-positive sunglow. That's also onyx, but why doesn't it look onyx? And I showed you onyx in the past, this past week you saw our onyx litter, because it also contains the motley gene. And when you combine the motley with the onyx, you produce an axe-like super form of it. You get this striped animal. As she's getting older, the stripe is kind of getting more of a dark band, but it was completely striped when she was a baby. And as you can see, this is a dwarf boa. She is literally like almost 5 years old. So she's going to breed hopefully this coming year at this tiny small size. Yep, because she's old enough, and that these dwarf boas do not need to be that big. She's been eating pretty good lately. She was kind of a slow starter, and so that's why I wanted to really grow her up. I'm going to breed her to a super onyx T-positive, also known as a red baron, and hopefully produce more of these beautiful girls. Produce some more super onyxes that are Honduran T-positive, possible super hypo. We'll definitely get some hypo in there. And then of course, if we get that motley gene 1 out of every 2 times, we will produce this super form as well. So there's a lot of potential in this girl, and she's, like I say, hopefully going to be plugged into the breeding program this coming season. I've waited a long time to breed her, and like I said, I just think this onyx gene has so much potential. And look at this. This is a ball python tub, and she's smaller than a ball python. She's tiny, and I guarantee you she will breed this coming year. She's been starting to add a little more food. We'll probably get her up in weight a little bit more because she's, like I said, she's been pounding food. I think she's ready to go. But these dwarf boas are amazing. Once again, super convenient to keep in a very small ball python rack. And there's no excuse, where people say, oh, they take up too much room, I need big cages like all these other cages. Nope. You can use a nice little small container like this. Even my bigger ones still fit in these V70s. She's got plenty of room in this. She's got more than enough room. And that's what makes these dwarf boa projects so appealing. And I've been keeping the dwarf stuff pure. I have my bloods, my onyx stuff, leopards. Those are all dwarf species, and if you keep them, in the Honduran T-positives, and if you keep them pure, then guess what? They stay small. If you breed them to albinos, Colombian albinos, they get big. And that's just the way it works. All right, that's going to do it for today, guys. We're going to get the weekend off. We need a little R&R to regenerate for Monday, and I got a bunch of clutches hatching in the incubator for Monday, so we should have some cool stuff to look at. My little zebra albino here is he's getting frisky. He knows the breeding season's coming up soon, and he's going to be finally paired up with his mate, which is going to be another albino zebra. We're going to try to produce some albino super zebras this year, possibly. But I know a lot of people love the boa stuff. They say there's not enough boa stuff out there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this boa video and some of my holdbacks that might be breeding maybe this coming season or probably more likely the following season. Once again, hit that subscribe button, click the like button, turn on your notifications.